Coast. Well, good evening, Florida, Tampa Metro. Welcome to the show.
Hey there, Richard. How you doing?
Doing good, Dan. Glad you made it tonight. I'll start off by beginning to describe what's going on with YouTube demonetization. And again, this is symbolic or emblematic of what's happening all over the country, as I'm sure you being a person who sold on eBay, you remember the whole experience a few years ago with eBay and the whole treatment of eBay, treatment of the small seller by eBay. Well, now we have a similar situation going on where a big, huge, multi-billion-dollar corporation is going after the little guy. They are targeting about 95%, it's estimated, of their content creators, about 95% of the people who are uploading videos to YouTube who entered into an agreement to be monetized, to be paid, to get a check in the mail from Google AdSense. You know, Google owns YouTube. And so you have all these small content creators creating videos and uploading them, and ads are being placed at the beginning, during the middle, or at the end of their video. And they're watching and building up money over a period of time, you know, waiting for those checks to come in the mail. Some people have already made a few hundred here and there. Depends on how many videos you have up and how many views. Some people are still waiting on their first check, but all of these people now are about to be demonetized because starting on February the 18th, they decided to switch the rules on everybody. They're going to change the rules. And whereas it used to require only 10,000 views to become monetized on YouTube, now you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. Now, that's hard to achieve. 4,000 hours of watch time is a lot of watch time. I mean, for example, I have 1,700 videos up, and I have 60,000 minutes of watch time in the past year. But you can do the math. That does not add up to the 4,000 hours. I was calculating it. I think I'm about 1/4 of the way as far as the watch time would go. So that's a deliberate effort on the part of YouTube to demonetize and marginalize and get rid of the small guy. And now I have North Georgia. Good evening, North Georgia.
Oh, hey, you got David Nye here.
Welcome to the show, David. Since you are a small YouTuber, tell us about your experience, because I watched your video the other day, too. Tell us, in your words, what YouTube is doing to you and other small content creators.
Well, here's the bad thing. I can see it from a business standpoint, which what YouTube is and what YouTube's doing. I can see where they're benefiting from it, but at the same time, yes, it is hurting us, but in the long run, it can actually hurt YouTube in the real long run, because as they're doing this, we're looking to compensate for the loss. So we're working towards other platforms. And I know several other platforms where once you get up good, you can make exponential amount of money in 72 hours.
Absolutely. I'd like to briefly weigh in just a moment on that. Some of the other platforms, I'm going to put the names out there for everybody listening who only maybe knows about YouTube. There is Vimeo or Vimeo. There is BitChute. There is PewTube, P-E-W-T-U-B-E. There is Dailymotion. Some of those you can get monetized on, some of them not yet. But all of them are alternatives to YouTube. And it's like I've been telling all the small content creators who are about to get demonetized. You know what? Guess what? You're uploading videos to YouTube, and you're not going to get paid anyway. So go ahead and start uploading them elsewhere, because it's going to be a very, very tough attempt on most people's part to get the 1,000 subscribers and to get the 4,000 hours of watch time. So they might as well begin to spread their eggs into other baskets. I did months ago. I kind of saw this coming, and so I have a lot of videos on BitChute. I have a lot of videos on Vimeo. I have a lot of videos on YouTube. And I recommend that everybody start uploading their videos on other platforms in addition to YouTube.
Oh, yes. I definitely agree with you on that. Because worst case scenario, YouTube at any point Now, I do highly recommend that anybody that is thinking about getting in or is a young channel, definitely read the guidelines and what YouTube can really do. YouTube at any point can come in and delete the channel. Okay? If you got all your eggs in one basket, not all my eggs are in one basket, but the majority of them are. If YouTube comes in and deletes me now, I'm 714 videos down. No way of backing them up currently. And I do have some out there on GodTube because YouTube there for a long time. I mean, a very long time, for about a year, almost 2 years. Every time I uploaded any religious material, I got flagged for something, whether it was copyright infringement.
I'd like to break in briefly and get Dan Patrick to weigh in on this. Dan, there is a covert censorship going on at YouTube. No kidding. YouTube is dominated and run by the extreme liberal left, and if you don't toe the political line of the liberal left, you're liable to get demonetized. You're liable to get kicked off. You definitely won't get the views. Let's talk about that, Dan. I'm sure you're familiar with some of it.
I'm trying to figure out what exactly they're going to take your money away, or are they going to take you down, or are you just going to have to agree to keep your video? Are they going to just clobber all these videos? Because I mean,
no, our videos will still be up. We just will no longer get paid for them. That's what the demonetization is. In other words, they're going to
back up here. They'll keep your content. They'll benefit from it, but they won't let you benefit from it any longer, is what you're saying.
That is correct, unless you have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. That is correct, yes.
So it'll be up to you whether or not you're okay with this, and whether you're going to keep your videos up for free or let them use them for no money at all. I know you've had a lot of hours. I mean, it takes a lot of time. Even to come up with, I guess, how many hours do you think you have right now? I'm sure you put many, many, many manpower hours into this. This is not.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I spend 2 or 3 hours a day creating 2 or 3 different videos, and they may not all 3 get uploaded on the same day, but I'll average 1 video a day. Have been doing that for some time now.
Now, I'm going to ask you a couple other questions. Now, one thing that has always baffled me is Google AdSense and any kind of Google. YouTube's owned by Google, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, YouTube is owned by Google, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then, I'm going to say about 10 years ago, I investigated, Clickstream millionaires. There's these guys, and they have conventions and all. And I'm going to tell you what, I've done every facet of e-commerce since the National Science Foundation opened up the web to the public, and I was on it before then, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and I knew that one day big money would push people out. But what I could never figure out is how anybody could become a millionaire at 1 cent click on these banners. Does anybody have any idea how absolutely difficult and time-consuming it is to build the web content and place the banners? That these people must work 24 to 48 hours a day, sleep a couple hours, and get back up. Because if you think for a moment that you're going to become a clickstream millionaire on Google AdSense without working your rear end off and maybe putting up 100,000 small websites with banner ads on them, you are seriously mistaken. And the people that do make money are doing exactly what I'm saying. They're creating content day in and day out, and they don't sleep in order to make that much. And, of course, money is a great motivator to do that kind of thing. I'm sure you put in your share of time, and then all of a sudden, with a swipe of a pen or whatever, a digital notation, they're going to take it away from you now.
In fact, Dan, it's called terms of service, and what the big corporations do, and eBay did it too, they simply decide to change the terms of service. And we have no say-so or no control over that. In fact, we're supposedly we contractually agreed to that whenever we took on the original terms of service. I think that needs to be tested in court. I think there's a real problem with big corporations being able to just change terms of service on a whim. And I want to welcome 2 callers. First of all, I want to welcome Northeast Texas to the show. Good evening. Northeast Texas, if you would like to say something, if you'd like to weigh in, go right ahead. Northwest Ohio, would you like to weigh in on this? Good evening. You are on the Daily Talk.
Hi, Rich. This is Deb. I'm just kind of listening in right now. And then
Thank you, Deborah.
Yeah, and then I will ask questions.
That would be fantastic. Okay, Dan, I'm going to give it back to you on what you were asking, Dan.
Here's the way life works, Rich, and it's not fair. Like, and even on a personal level, it's like this: whoever holds the most economic power in any kind of a situation, in a job, in an organization, in a personal situation, in a corporate situation, and on the web, we're seeing they can change, and it's always made me mad since I was a very young man in college and even before that. If they have more economic power than you, they may change the rules in the middle of the game, because that's the way life is. It's unfortunate. I'm not happy about it because I'm a guitarist and there's like hundreds of guys putting free lessons. I've never played better in my life because things I've struggled to like play just by listening to a record over and over again. These guys cut to the chase and I got it down in like 3 to 5 minutes. And stuff that's taken me my whole life to try to figure out my guitar. I can go to YouTube, just like search on a song, space guitar lesson, and there's at least 3 or 4 lessons. And I know that the majority of these guys do not have the minimum requirements, so they're going to go away, and that bothers me extensively because they're either going to have to do one of 2 things. They're going to have to go to their own pay site, right, and charge me money where I was getting it for free, or they're going to just have to disappear because it's not worth their time and effort anymore. But the one thing that we have to like realize is, as mad as it makes us about eBay, as mad as it makes us about Amazon, as big of a putz that Jeff Bezos is of Amazon, politically, the people that.
And by the way, I would like to interject. Not only does Jeff Bezos of Amazon own a bunch of other tech companies, but he does own a significant amount of stock in Google. So Jeff Bezos of Amazon is one of the owners of Google. And I want to welcome, for a moment, Dan, I would like to take a moment to welcome Southeast Pennsylvania to the show. Good evening, Southeast Pennsylvania.
Hey, how are you?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm just listening in and.
Feel free to interject and ask a question at any moment. Go ahead.
You don't need to say anything more. If you're saying Jeff Bezos is involved in this, then it's this guy's like he's off out of his rocker. He's going to rip you off every chance he gets. So are you surprised? He's a hater of the right. This guy's is a wacko. So
which one?
Surprised.
Go ahead.
Wait, who are you referring to as a wacko?
The owner of Amazon.
Talking about the owner of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, who also is a major stockholder in Google. Google, of course, owns YouTube.
I completely agree with you. Completely agree with you on that one.
I was curious as to why, if you don't mind me interjecting, Amazon is focusing on the shop there's no employees in the shop, but they're not focusing on their when they purchase Whole Foods, they're not focusing on that at all. And I think they have something in mind.
Very interesting.
They're just opening up their first live, place in Seattle where they can walk a convenience store. Amazon Go. Did you know that? Are you aware of that? They're getting into the brick and mortar businesses now too.
Really?
Does everybody here realize that Amazon opened up their first convenience store in Seattle like last week or the week before called Amazon Go, where you can get a cup of coffee?
No, I did not know that.
You get a
It's like a 7-Eleven or a Wawa.
It's like an Amazon 7-Eleven. All right, so they're getting into the brick and mortar world too. They're trying to take over everything again. and then somebody said they're Whole Foods. So yeah.
The big
It's
thing
all
of that
Whole
is
Foods,
there's
right?
no employees in there. That's the big thing. with that, there's no employees in there.
That's right. That's greed capitalism gone wild, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing more and more monopolization, and there used to be antitrust and anti-monopoly laws, but those are no longer enforced apparently. So what you're going to end up with is it's a bigger and bigger and bigger corporation that owns every other corporation, until it just continues to thin the playing field down to where there's less competition, less small independent workers. And I'll tell you who's being massacred in all of this, and Dan can back me up on this, and I'm sure the rest of you guys too. It's the middle and the working class that are being slaughtered by these huge corporations.
Here on that one.
Here's the problem with this, and I'm going to say this: that before the internet, before the World Wide Web became available to the public, the middle class, the grassroots people weren't making any money. Then they could hop on in 1995. Just about anybody could make money for the longest period of time. But, during this period of time, I knew that that eventually big money would capture and take over and push out the little people. It was just a matter of time. So it took, 1995, here it is, 2018. So it took, this is
23 years.
Yeah,
23 years.
23.
So,
Yeah.
So it was a good run for the middle class, but it's over with. We have to accept the fact that before that, you couldn't go and open a giant food store, or I don't know what the grocery store, Winn-Dixie. It was what they call the barriers of entry were too prohibitive for the average guy. The web took that away. The barriers of entry for you, Rich, to make money on eBay, on YouTube.
Very good point. That's a great point.
Was absolutely nothing, right? Didn't cost you a cent to get on, except a little time. Now the stakes are higher, and before that, so we've been spoiled in a way. I hate to say it, we're all probably middle-aged now. We probably all can remember when we couldn't even imagine opening up our own 7-Eleven because the barriers of entry were too high. You'd have to buy the land, build the building, stock it up, buy the franchise. Couldn't do it, right?
Not only that, but the gathering of information in order to figure out what on earth to do. In order to do so was so unattainable, like difficult to attain. It wasn't ready at hand. You couldn't just Google anything, and it was just hard to figure out. So you would give up hope before you even tried to even open it, because it was so impossible even to fathom, because you couldn't really understand or find out the how you even needed to go by.
Exactly.
And what you've stumbled into is the power of the internet, properly used to democratize our economy, to open doors and to open opportunity up. And that's what was happening originally, as Dan remembers, at eBay. That's what was happening originally at YouTube. And then, of course, greed, capitalists hijack it. The mega corporations hijack all of that and eliminate the little guy, just shove the little guy under the carpet.
Well, what's really funny, though, sorry
What
to
can
interrupt,
we do
I'm sorry.
about it? What can be done?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Well,
what are you going to do about it?
Well, you see, the thing is that big corporation will always forget that little guy is the most important part of that corporation, regardless of the decisions made in the room around the table, that the little guy is the one who makes it happen to where that's something that they want to produce and sell and, market.
I think it's absolutely provable and factual that the small content creator for the past 10 years built YouTube to what it is. And now they're turning their backs on the small content creator.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They sure are. But we have so many ways that we can actually, even being small content creators, we can generate more money than what some of the bigger guys are by literally, say, if we have a book that we have written, we can drop that link in our videos and get sales off that, and whether we're monetized in our videos or not, YouTube does not stop that. And that's what some of the bigger guys are doing. And they're just bringing exponential amount of money.